What you thinking, Capon? Let's go to the highlights from Pepsi Center. A mile high. And Damian Lillard and the Blazers trying to tie things up in this series at a game apiece.
Ooh, tough shot.
Tough shot maker.
Yeah.
C.J. McCollum.
Step side to me.
17-4 Portland run, and then Damian Lillard with a reverse.
Even though they're showing their highlights of them scoring, I thought they did a real good job of getting the others involved early in the game.
Now this hurts.
Oh,
Man, especially in regular.
Literally and figuratively.
Man, in regular speed, that's even worse than watching it in the super slow.
But you get a kid credit. He manned up.
He did more than man up.
Broken nose and bleeding profusely.
Rodney Hood. They finally trusting this kid. He's a hell of a player. I like him.
Yeah, he didn't do much in the OKC series, but he's been a factor here for Portland against Denver. The Joker off the mark. And that's where Mo Harkless
Sprained his ankle.
Jeez.
Told you, nothing good can happen when you play defense, kids.
The Nuggets 4 for 20 from deep in the first half. Man alive. Yeah, keep swinging it, keep doing it. But there, man, the threes were just not falling.
Feel free to take it to the basket.
Swing it.
Don't shoot the three. Keep shooting.
Just not even a person in the paint.
They missed 10 straight three-pointers in the second quarter. At the half, it's 50-35. Malik Beasley.
Oh, my goodness. Malik Beasley, he's got star written on his back of his jersey, but he just haven't peeled it off yet.
Dame knocks it down. Lillard, just a 14-point night, 5 out of 7.
What a pass.
That's old nutmeg.
Ernie, first of all, stop making up a word.
I'm not sure everybody calls it a nutmeg.
I've never heard that.
Thank you.
Oh, you got
We've been on the basketball court our whole life and
well.
never heard the term nutmeg.
Get cable, man.
He's like, good nutmeg, Ernest.
68-50.
Ernie with the nutmeg.
Tell you what, man.
Google it.
I can watch
Jet,
Dennis
Google it.
Cannon play.
It's going to be like you put that on coffee cake, nutmeg.
Torrey Craig, broken nose and all, knocks down that three. He's got the mask on. He's got the gauze in his nostrils.
Got it.
Rodney Hood again. Go to the fourth quarter. It was 78-64 going to the fourth.
Man.
Joker right there. Joker again.
Tiptoe.
Give Portland credit for switching up their defenses on Joker tonight.
But what do they call him? The silencer. C.J. McCollum quiets the crowd.
Oh, that's an oxymoron. If he's silent, why do they call him anything?
No, he's silencing the crowd.
Okay.
Got him.
That was a huge sigh from Shaq.
Because he wanted to say something on Charles' stupid comment. He's still mad at him, so he wouldn't say it. I know exactly. I know.
You saw this happen.
I know you
right
well,
here.
man.
Kenny, we don't need you to snitching over there.
I know you too well, man.
That was Jokic knocked Cantor into Craig.
Hey, what's going to be interesting about this play is guys coming off the bench.
Yeah, they were coming off the bench because it was.
Yeah, but those guys wasn't coming for the timeout. They was
already a timeout.
They'll look at it. Obviously, they will look at it.
They were joining the freak and stop it.
The league will look at it.
Well, Ernie,
Talk about snitching.
Ernie, you know what's interesting about that? I hate that rule.
Hey,
No, man, it's a good rule.
No, it's not a good rule.
It is.
Which
That's
rule?
not a good rule.
Rule guys coming off the bench.
Why is that a bad rule?
Well, because the rule was designed, because I was in the game when the rule happened. The rule is designed for guys who come off the bench and get involved in the altercation.
Right.
Guys stepping on the court for a little bit and things like that get suspended. I have a problem with that. Seriously, we were playing the New York Knicks, my Phoenix Suns against the Knicks. Greg Anthony, who worked for us, he's an idiot. He comes.
Come on now.
No.
Then he was.
He comes.
That day he was.
No. So it's just so we had
Not
a little.
now.
We
That day.
love
Back then,
Greg,
okay.
but this is how the thing started. Greg wasn't in the game, and there was a little dust up. He comes off the bench and punches Kevin Johnson. That was the first time they made a rule you couldn't leave the bench. And first of all, I think that's a great rule. But when a guy takes a step on the court, that's not what the.
I understand what you're saying, but
Sure.
here's the premise behind that. Because you said unless they get become part of the altercation. I get it. But if Ernie steps onto the court, I don't know if he's coming to be part of it or not. And then all of a sudden I start swinging at Ernie.
Suddenly,
and then it's mayhem.
Yeah,
because if somebody steps on the court, I'm like, all free, all hands
First of all,
are free.
you ain't never been in a fight in your life.
No, I've been in a...
You're softer than baby.
Okay,
that
there's
has
more
nothing to
people
do
in
with
my
it.
building in Leeds, Alabama.
That has nothing to do with it. If you know anything about law, there's letter of the law, then there's spirit of the law.
Thank you.
Once you break the letter of the law, Chuck, you cross the line, you got to get suspended. That's what the law says. Don't cross the line, so we must abide by it. I mean, you're right. Like, if the guys just step across the line just to see what's going on and they're not trying to get in an altercation, they shouldn't be suspended. But the letter of the law...
Letter of law,
says-
you have to, because there's always the guy who wanders out a little too far, and then the altercation gets heavier, and then he gets involved if he was never on the bench. See? As soon as I got up, he was ready to fight. And then, you just can't... You got to stay on the bench.
I just hope they don't suspend anybody.
No, they're
because
not.
that was nothing.
I think it was a timeout, and everybody was...
Yeah, so I think they'll certainly look at that. But as to the game itself, Lillard does not have a big night. McCollum goes for 20. Jokic, 16, 14, and 7. I mean, where does this series stand right now, 1-1, as we go to Portland for the next two?
Well, from the Denver side, Jokic has shown us that he's a star. In the Game 7, he had 21, 10, 15. The Game 1, he had 37, 6, and 9. Tonight, he only had 16. He's going to have to score, and he's going to have to keep scoring, as well as passing and, keep getting everybody involved. He should have, when the guys, kept shooting threes, he should have been like, no, forget that. Bring the ball to me. Let me create easy shots for us. Because, to shoot 20.7% at home, you're not going to beat anybody.
Oh, and Ernie, I think you saw tonight the difference in these teams. The Portland bench won this game. I told you, when they had Nurkic and they had Hood and Cantor coming off the bench, they had the best bench in the NBA by far. By far. Now, when Nurkic got hurt, they put Cantor in the starting lineup, and he's fantastic, rebounding offensively and everything like that. Their bench is not as good. But think about it. If you actually watch the Trailblazers play, they do. They play all their all their bench players like long, extended periods of time. Most coaches do not have enough trust in their bench guys. They're like, let me give you a couple minutes to get the starters a blow. Coach Stotts doesn't do that. They play their bench extended minutes.
Hood 15, Zach Collins 10 tonight. Got to keep an eye on Jamal Murray's leg too, because he was limping around out there in the fourth quarter of this game tonight. Denver falls at home 97-90. Chuck, when Ernie said nutmeg.
What you talking about, Willis?
It's got to be from the mean streets to know what nutmeg is. No, just Google it.
I've never heard it,
Ernie,
I've never
Google
heard it.
nutmeg basketball. Everybody says it. Yeah, come on.
Not in my neighborhood.
Come on.
Nutmeg.
Between the legs. There you
Big
go.
ball.
And we're not saying you're lying, Ernie. We just never heard it before.
Well, again, watch the TV.